This story proves Muhammad is a prophet. In fact, I hope the scholars say the story is true, because it proves he's a true prophet. Basically what happened one day, the prophet was reciting a verse, and Satan whispered into his ear.
What part of the Quran did you find illogical? Illogical.
And Satan whispered into his ear, and Satan whispered into his ear.
What part of the Quran did you find illogical?
And Satan whispered into his ear.
What part of the Quran did you find illogical?
And Satan whispered into his ear.
Chapter 57, verse 22. No misfortune can happen on earth or in your souls, but is recorded in a decree before we bring it into existence. Chapter 64, verse 11. No kind of calamity can occur except by the leave of Allah. So the earthquakes, tsunamis, poverty, starvation, all of these happen because of Allah. Again, Allah is simply running the entire show. But I'd like to focus on 57 verse 22, where it says, no misfortune can happen on earth or in your souls, but is recorded in a decree before we bring it into existence. Remember Sami Zaatari talking about a book that Allah uses?
Islam teaches that God knew everything, and not only did He know what you're going to do and what everybody's going to do and everything that will happen, He also recorded this down in a book. And as I said, this often confuses people. Now, just because God knows what you're going to do before you do it does not equal Him controlling you like a robot.
Sami Zaatari likes to think that just because everything has been written down does not mean that we are under Allah's control. However, chapter 57 verse 22 gives us a different picture. It says that all the misfortunes have been recorded in a book, and Allah brings it into existence. That's the key part. This is like saying that He causes to happen whatever He has written in His book. If there are still Muslims who like to think that we do have a free will and we're not completely under Allah's control, wait till you see this. Now remember when I said Allah makes an evil one your best friend if you refuse to remember God? Well, here's the important part that I left out. Chapter 74 verse 56, but none will keep it in remembrance except as Allah wills. So if Allah doesn't will, you can't keep Him in remembrance. If you can't keep Him in remembrance, Allah sets an evil one to be your best friend. If Satan's your best friend, you end up in hell. Is Allah still supposed to be infinitely good? Because it seems like He's infinitely insane. And now for the final verse. Chapter 81, verses 27 to 28. Verily, this is no less than a message to all the worlds, with profit to whoever among you wills to go straight. So if a person wills to go straight, if he wills to do right, he will find profit in Allah's message. Am I wrong about everything I said in this video? Does this mean that humans do have some kind of free will? That we can be saved by our own choices? Our own free will? Can we? Nope. Chapter 81, verse 29. But you shall not will except as Allah wills. So we cannot will except what Allah wills for us. We cannot choose a path unless it has been chosen for us by Allah. It seems as if humans are just like
robots.
Verses 27 to 29 pretty much says this. You can be good if you want to be good, but you can only want to be good if Allah programs you to want to be good. So if any Muslim out there thinks that you have free will, you don't. You're just a robot according to your own Quran. Putting it all together, Allah guides whoever He wants, sends astray whoever He wants, He gives knowledge and wisdom to whoever He wants, He seals the hearts, eyes, hearing, and understanding of whoever He wants. He causes Jews to be close-minded hypocrites with their hearts sealed. He causes Christians to hate each other and become enemies. He flings thunderbolts at whoever He wants. He grants or restricts provision for sustenance to whomever He wants. He causes natural disasters whenever He wants. He created humans impure, weak, and impatient. He made the evil ones become friends with non-Muslims so that they remain misguided. He predestines everything, and finally, He created us without free will, as we cannot will anything unless Allah wills it for us. And all this is done so that Allah can settle a score with Satan.
Basically what happened one day, the Prophet was reciting a verse, and Satan whispered into his ear,
What part of the Quran did you find illogical?
And Satan whispered into his ear.
What part of the Quran did you find illogical?
And Satan whispered into his ear.
What part of the Quran did you find illogical? Illogical.